experience and entrepreneurial journey with us. These two are very, very interesting guys, and I'm not here so more to moderate here, but let them chat among themselves, and each of them will introduce each other, and it will be a lively conversation. Over to Sumit and Alok.
I want to introduce myself. You want to hear me? Okay. Why don't you sit inside? Why don't you sit inside? Come. Because the folks out there want to engage with us, right? Come. Okay. So what I wanted to do, we got 15 minutes, and I was sitting in from the morning. Thought that we'd do a very quick introduction and have some quick chat with all of you. So let me introduce myself. My name is Shoaib, and one of the methods for you to remember my name is through an adjective, and I got that inspiration while just listening to the launch of this book. The way I like to look at my adjective is sexy Shoaib. So you won't forget my name. My name is sexy, and yes, so you'll not forget me. Now, Alok, to you. What's your adjective?
I'm not sure. Give me a couple of minutes. So let me actually, I'll introduce Shoaib. I'll give him a brief introduction, and then let him tell you a bit about the books and things that have been influential. So Shoaib went to law school. He wasn't really reading law books in law school. He was mostly talking to girls, and that's where he met his wife. And I guess somehow when he left law school, he never even practiced law. So I don't know if he even opened up a law book, but he did meet his wife in law school. After law school, he somehow got the crazy idea to start a software company. And he taught himself how to develop software, how to manage a software development team. And he built a quite successful company that he ran as an independent company, I believe for 15 years?
Yes.
And then as the last 10 years, in addition to other products, that he's been running as the president of Tally Software, which acquired his company. So he's somebody for, I don't know how many of you are techies, how many of you are entrepreneurs, how many of you kind of think about making software but haven't made software. Shoaib can kind of talk to you about how he became number one, an entrepreneur, and number two, how he entered software, and I'm sure many other things.
And the fascinating lesson when I've come here today was to meet with Alok and understand here's a guy who's actually doing something transformational. Everybody here knows Google, right? And does anybody here have the gumption to say, hey, you know what? I don't like the rules which I live with under Google. Simply because I don't have any privacy at all. Think about it. Google knows what you're doing today. A good chance that they know what you had for breakfast. Good chance that they know exactly what you read. And good chance that they're actually influencing you to read more of the same junk that you want to get out of if you have a bad habit of reading. Bad books, not bad habit of reading books. Right? Alok has not just the gumption, but actually the ability and the technology, and he's currently challenging what is now taken for granted and potentially going to be one of the game changers going forward. And I'd like Alok to spend a little time to tell you about privacy, to tell you about the secure search engines, the ability to deliver that, and the success which he's been able to create so far. Questions? This is our background. Anything that you'd like specific to us? This floor is open to you all.
Alok is also a researcher and teacher. He's taught at Columbia Business School, and he has a very eclectic personality. I will show this. He did his master's in philosophy, and he started a advertising company, and he invests in art and quite a lot. So how do we bring what Shoaib spoke and what Alok spoke, and to the theme of the confluence of technology and business literature? The problem in take the 10 seconds just to define the theme. So the situation, typically you see engineers with an engineering mindset, business managers with a typical business manager's mindset. Of course, there's a trend after lot of people do. I mean, many guys, smart guys do engineering, they go to IIMs to finish their management course, and they happen to command 10 times more salaries, and of course they make a lot of difference to the world. And most of the apps that are being started, sure, these days, and all these guys are IIT kind of combinations. So this session is about how reading technology literature and also reading business literature. How do you crunch both? How do you crunch both and become successful? Become successful in the sense, launch great products, great services. So I leave it to Alok to take it from here.
Sure. Thank you so much, Benedict. Thanks so much for a great introduction, Shoaib. And just to tell briefly that we've developed a web browser that's a private alternative to Google's Chrome. So what's very interesting is here in India, you're in a surveillance country. Everything you do online is being saved by Vodafone, Airtel, your ISP, as well as the government. That's why, for instance, there's no open public Wi-Fi in India. They have to know your mobile number so they can save your browsing history along with that. Google as well tracks everything that you do, and that's something that we're challenging. And we also, kind of really believe there's a lot of scope for privacy. One of the things I can kind of tell you when you start off in technology is when I told people 2-3 years ago, we're working in privacy, people care about privacy. A lot of people laughed at me. No one really cares about privacy when you're online and these kinds of things. But just 2 years later, particularly after this guy Edward Snowden came out, no one laughs. In India, privacy is still catching up. In the US, if I talk to roughly 2 people, one person will say, oh my God, what's your product? How come I'm not using it? The other person will still say, kind of like, I don't care about privacy. So that being said, that's a little bit about what I do. I'm happy to talk to anyone about that, of course. In terms of technology, business literature, and kind of technology news of these things. So I've got maybe a perspective that's probably a little unconventional here. So in terms of technology or a book or something, what book? I would ask, there are a lot of books out there you can buy. Which one of these books that I read is going to make me $100 million? Which one of these books is going to make me $1 billion? What do I need to read to do that, right? If you're in business, maybe you want to have some great impact, so that's one thing. Another thing is maybe you want to make an idea that's really valuable. How do you do that? The problem with books on technology is by the time the book is written about the technology, it's way too late. Right? By the time there's a book on Twitter, Twitter's already worth $10 or $20 billion and you kind of missed out. So where can you kind of get that news? I think for a lot of technology news, it's important to read stuff online, blogs and these kinds of things. That being said, a lot of the technology coverage that we have is, in kind of my humble opinion, it's just awful. It's terrible. And part of that is because a lot of these people who write about technology, part of it is online. You have to crunch out articles, 10, 20 articles a day. So obviously there's not a lot of emphasis on quality. Part of it is that a lot of the reporters are not scientists. And I'll just give you an example. How many of you here read the newspaper? Read a newspaper every day, roughly? Okay, most of you. How many of you read technology news? Kind of, roughly every week. Okay, fair number. How many of you have heard of the technology that's called CRISPR or Cas9? Anyone heard of this? Anybody at all? Nobody. All right. In my kind of humble opinion, so CRISPR and Cas9 is a technology. It's related to genetic engineering. It's been discovered in the last 5 years. Hundreds of millions of dollars have already been invested in these kinds of companies. But in my kind of opinion, this is the most transformational technology that has ever been developed and will ever be developed. It's basically the last kind of key that we need to do something that I'll call human engineering, where we can actually engineer human beings. And I think the impacts of these things are really kind of beyond what we can even expect. Literally doing the simplest things in human engineering, I can get rid of 50 million jobs in India. Almost, not exactly overnight, but once this generation grows up, within 20, 30 years, I can move the entire Indian IT industry to China. But anyway, this is a technology that absolutely none of you have heard about because it's just not being covered in the mainstream tech press. So that's just to give you some idea. Now that being said, they come back to this idea of like, how do you make $100 million reading the news? I can talk to you about like literally some of my friends and other things. What I would recommend is read about what's going on in other countries. Read about ideas that are taking off. So one of my friends has sold 3 companies, and actually each one for hundreds of millions of dollars, finding ideas that take off very quickly, like eBay in the United States. It took off very quickly. He saw that it was a big idea. He took that idea to France. He did that for another idea from the US, took it to another country. And he also took an idea from Korea, where it used to be that Korea and these Asian countries like Japan were very advanced in terms of mobile phone technologies. And one of the business models that took off in these countries was ringtones. So he discovered that, reading about the news of what's going on in Korea, took that model to the US and was very successful. There's another business in Korea, for instance, selling online courses that's very successful in Korea called Mega Study. That inspired in the last 2 or 3 years people who studied that, a couple of very successful or fairly successful businesses in the US. So in terms of kind of really making money, you have to find someone who's maybe smart. So there's a tech blogger, Michael Arrington, who used to be really famous. This guy was good. This guy within 3 months of the launch of Twitter said Twitter's going to be a massive hit. No one else was really saying that. So if you had invested based on that, you would have made a lot of money. Before Uber was even launched, he wrote 3 or 4 blog posts about how awesome his experience was trying out Uber, that it was going to be big. And so you have to kind of, if you can find someone who's like that, it can be really valuable. Now, in terms of tech books or business books, why do you read these things? I'm personally, you read these things to get someone else's experience. I'm a bit skeptical about the value and the ability of these books to really do something. For instance, Warren Buffett, one of the best books I've read in business is Warren Buffett's collected essays from his annual reports. It's been around for decades. Anyone can read it, can know Warren Buffett's methods. Where's another Warren Buffett? Point me out one. There's no one out there. You look at some of the classic business books are about these bubbles, delusions, madness, and so on. These books have been written for hundreds of years about the tulip craze 500 years ago in the Netherlands. And has it stopped? Do we continue to have bubbles in these things? We continue to have bubbles all of the time. Despite these books being some of the classics in business books, so I'm a little doubtful about these things. But that being said, reading about, if you're an entrepreneur, reading about other entrepreneurial studies, reading about how other technologies took hold, it gives you perspective on these things, both about how quickly sometimes things develop, as well as sometimes how slowly things develop, about how much luck is involved, about how much sometimes chance is involved, and sometimes when you're struggling, I must have read 100 stories of entrepreneurs who struggled, who failed, and went through all kinds of things. 1 or 2 of the stories was something that really stuck with me and kind of helped me get through times or understand my situation.
Very sorry. Yeah, nice observations. I picked the word slow technology, and I want to provoke Shoaib there. The general impression is that Tally is not too fast.
Oh, it's very slow.
Okay, so
and that's why they got the majority market share. That's a different story.
So that's the reason I wanted to provoke you. And why is it still the market leader? It is slowest technology absorption.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure. Benedict, but let me, before I respond to you, Alok made some very interesting observation, and I just want to respond to that. I was a startup 30 years ago, and as he's speaking, I'm trying to reflect. I am fortunate that in those days there were no VCs, there were no mentors, there were no coaches, and there were definitely no books on entrepreneurship and on startups. For which I was thankful for, but that's in hindsight, because my entrepreneurial ability, which was innate, was allowed to flower without any conditioning and without any so-called influence of anybody. And having said that, and I'm just reflecting on how dangerous it could be when we get into a platform out here and assume a position because we've been successful, and as you rightly said, Benedict, there's a success of Tally. So does it mean that, hey, all my experiences of Tally is something that I'm going to sit here and preach to you, and potentially that you can become a Tally? Unlikely. Is it because I don't want you to succeed? No. Even if I want you to succeed, it's unlikely that I can reconstruct that and pass that back to you. So why should you bother? what should you read? Having said that, just now, Alok asked me for the session, are there any books that you've been inspired and that you're reading? And currently I'm deep into 2 books, both coincidentally being given by very successful entrepreneurs themselves. One, none other than my own boss, Mr. Bhardwaj, who very seldom that he refers back and says, hey, you know what, this is a good piece of book and let's read it. Because for the same reason what I just stated, that he's a firm believer that you can't go back and read and understand stuff. And we as a top management in Italy are currently reading about how Google works. The secrets of the way Google works. And I'll come back to the learnings from there, just to take that discussion a little bit. The second book, which I didn't bargain for, was when I went to meet with Michael Dell. It's a book which he presented to all the folks who came there, and that book was about abundance. And when I got that book, it's a big fat book. I mean, you know, typically you have books that you get and you say, I'm going to read it one day. Like I have the Steve Jobs book on Imagine. I said, look, I'm going to read it one day, started reading it, couldn't finish it. Similarly, Nanda Nilekani's book, I started looking at Imagine India, couldn't finish it, couldn't even start. But abundance triggered something in me. And the triggers were about imagining the future from a mindset which currently holds us back, and helped me to understand the mindset that what challenges us to start imagining a successful future and to accept that we are living in good times are things that help me to understand for myself and articulate better for myself what we should be doing from a roadmap perspective. So that the learnings from these kinds of triggers which you get, and these are very interesting triggers, not that one of them is going to make a magical difference, but the sense is that different experiences, different articulations help in your own articulation, and as a business leader it helps me immensely to have a framework against which I can discuss not just with peers within my companies and with folks like you, but help each of us to learn and internalize various concepts. And from Google, just so that I just want to take the biggest learning for me from Google, the first chapter to how to build a great company always inspired me, but there's one element which he talks about, which is culture, which is about people, it's about ownership. Yes, he talks about technology too, but you're opening a technology book and learning about people and learning about managing people and learning about nurturing people, and you're talking about building a culture, and then the definition of a great company simply means that yes, you've got people who are motivated, happy and excited to come to work. So stuff like this are a mix which comes through, and the balance, and the net for me, the balance being yes, you need to have your own instinct, you need to back yourself through, you need to come with your ideas, and like one of the previous speakers said, the key is imagination. Nothing is going to come from a book. Your imagination is yours. Right? So these notwithstanding. So Benedict, I don't know if I answered the specific question on talent, but this is something which I'm very passionate about. So
that's great, that's great. I think both of you have in this short period shared. There's a lot of takeaways for all of us. We promised that this would be a very short session, and if there are any questions, we can